Hey folks, this is immigration attorney Hasan Abdullah hailing from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm here to provide you with a basic overview of the prevailing wage determination process that the Department of Labor performs. Now, this is a very important issue for any company that's looking to sponsor a foreign worker for a green card, and of course, it's also something that foreign workers who are looking to get sponsorship would be interested in. See, before a company can sponsor somebody for a green card, what they have to do is they have to do a labor certification. And what a labor certification is a certification filed with the Department of Labor. An employer will file this with the Department of Labor, and basically it certifies that it has gone through the necessary recruitment efforts set forth by certain statutory law to test the U.S. labor market for qualified workers. See, before a company can sponsor a foreign worker for a green card, it has to test the U.S. labor market to see that it can't find a qualified U.S. worker, a U.S. citizen or permanent resident worker, within that designated service area or county. Generally, it's based on county. So it has to take certain recruitment efforts. But before that, the company also has to figure out what the prevailing wage is for the job, because they have to recruit with in mind what the minimum prevailing wage is. Because in one of the steps for recruitment, it will list the prevailing wage, and also in the labor certification form itself, it will list the prevailing wage. And the company must certify that it is going to offer more than the prevailing wage for the worker. So before you even do the labor certification, generally what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to determine the prevailing wage, and you're going to send an application to the Department of Labor for that as well. That's the first step. So the thing about prevailing wage is that it is, again, based on specific occupation, and it's based on specific location. So examples are the best way to really illustrate things. So let's just say we got a not a software engineer, systems analyst, and let's just say we're talking about Alameda County, and let's just say the prevailing wage levels, there's 4 levels for every occupation, okay? There's 4 levels. Level 1 for the systems analyst, let's just say it's 50,000. Level 2 is 70, level 3 is 90, and let's just say level 4 is 110. So simple $20,000 increments. And you want to determine what the prevailing wage is, what the minimum wage the company must offer this person for the position at the time when the person gets their green card. So if you set the job requirements for this particular position to be bachelor's plus 5 years of experience, you're going to get wage level 4 for sure. The Department of Labor is going to come back and show you that it's wage level 4. If you set the requirements to master's, however, and 2 years of experience, you're going to get only wage level 2, most likely. If not, you can still challenge it. So why is that? Why would someone with a bachelor's plus 5 be required, the company would be required to pay such a person $110,000, while the guy who's got if you advertise the position for master's plus 2 years, why would it be only $70,000? Why would it be 2 levels lower? Keep listening, keep watching and listening, and I will explain that. So the first thing that I need to explain is that there's something called the Specific Vocational Preparation, SVP, and there are 9 levels of SVP. Basically, SVP is just a designation of, it's just a measure of how much preparation is typically required for the specific job. So systems analysts are in SVP range 7, okay? Greater than 7, equal to or greater than 7, and less than 8. So basically 7. And so I want to show you specifically how we use the SVP to determine the wage level. So I have an appendix of the SVP, a certain document that I would like you to pay attention to. And as you can see, we've got here SVP level 7 and associated, and don't worry about my notes, these are just, you just don't have to pay attention to that. It's not really relevant to what we're going to be talking about, all these numbers and things that I've written here. But basically, as you can see, level 7 shows that the specific prep time for the specific experience requirements is typically over 2 years and up to and including 4 years. Okay? So how do we work with that? How does that help us figure out what the prevailing wage level, the wage level we're going to end up at? Well, see, if a job requires less than the SVP range, which is over 2 years to 4 years for an SVP 7 job, then you don't go up a wage level. You just stay where you are. If you're at the lower end of the that experience requirement, such as 2.5 years, see, that's the lower end of over 2 years up to 4 years, then you add 1 wage level. So you go up to wage level 2 for job with SVP 7, like a systems analyst. So if you say something on the higher end, like 3.5 years or 4 years, then you would add 2 wage level points. So you'd be at wage level 3 if the job for if this position required a bachelor's in computer science plus 3.5 years, 4 years experience. If you go outside that range, so let's just say bachelor's plus 5 years experience, then you're going to get 3 wage levels up, and you're going to get to wage level 4 and the $110,000 wage level. Okay, what about the guy with the master's degree? What about the position advertised as master's plus 2 years? Well, we already know 2 years is just outside of the typical SVP range of over 2 years to 4 years, right? So you don't go up a wage level because it's right on the nose with 2 years experience, right on the cusp, right below the specific typical preparation requirement for SVP 7. Another thing to consider is positions at SVP 7 generally are associated with having a bachelor's degree. So positions where you are requiring 1 level of education above what is typical, you go up a wage level. So if the job required a master's degree, where typically a bachelor's is required, then you go up 1 wage level. So with master's plus 2, all you get is wage level 2, which would be $70,000 in our hypothetical case. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how you figure out SVP. Also, if you have a job that if you're an employer and you say you require supervisory duties in your position, then what happens is you will also go up a wage level if that's not typical to the job. And also another thing to look out for to raise your wage, which would raise your wage level, is if you say that if you put excessive job requirements, special skills in the job description. And that's pretty much how prevailing wage works. I only gave one example. I'm not going into SVP 8 or 9, but this is the general idea. And if the Department of Labor comes out with a wage determination which is not consistent with this scheme, what the attorney can do, representative can do, is file a request to redetermine the prevailing wage and explain why the Department of Labor made a mistake. I've done it before and been successful with it, so I know it can be done. And so basically that's how prevailing wage determinations work. So there's also some other issues about how soon do you have to prove ability to pay and things like that, but that's kind of outside the scope of this specific video. So for now, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.